Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is Mike here once again, here with my third video in my new series, the first 100. But I have a slight confession to make. Let me explain myself. The book that I'm talking about right now is by Jarvis. It is the Thorn Ogres of Hagwood. Now this is quite a short book. It's very short. It's like 220 pages long. So rather than talk about the first 100 pages because it's like half of the book, I'm going to talk about the first 50 pages. So just a little bending of my own rules, but you know what, that's okay, I feel fine about it. This book is a really cute little book. Let me talk you through my little kind of story about this book. I've owned this book for a really long time. And it's one of those Jarvis books that kind of got away from me because I just didn't read it when I was younger. And it sat on my shelf for a really long time and I've never got around to it. But I wanted to read something short because I thought I would finish it before the end of July, but alas, I have not, which is fine. I'm about halfway through, but this is about the first 50 pages, so I'm gonna tell you what it's about. It's about, well, it's about so much, and it's it's fantasy. This is a middle grade book. It's not YA. It's younger. It's a fantasy book about these little creatures called whirlings, and whirlings are tiny little creatures that live inside tree trunks, and they have the power to wurgle, but they have to learn how to wurgle. And wurgling is changing your appearance to become like an animal. And the way that the whirlings avoid detection from the rest of the world is they become animals, so you don't know that they're whirlings. So they're a little hidden race that live in little trees, and I think that's really, really cute. And so far the story is following one character called, now this is going to be, I'm going to butcher this name, okay, now, because it's a fantastical world. His name is Gamaliel, or Gamaliel? It's hard, I don't know what to call him. Gamaliel, we're gonna go Gamaliel. I've said it too many times now. I think this is Gamaliel. I mean, look at this cover. It is rather glorious. It's got this really nice, cool copper shininess about it. And this drawing, I mean, this is the Thorn Ogre, and this is a whirling. So yeah, it's interesting. And so far, in the first 50 pages, it's been sort of, it kind of reminds me of like The Hobbit. Not in like details, not in like the same, it's not nothing like The Hobbit, but you know, this kind of cute little comfortable world, very natural, and a lovable sort of guy who's not very good at anything. It's kind of, yeah, there's bits of The Hobbit about this. And I love a book that starts with a map, obviously. This is Hagwood, and it's really, really nice. I like that. And there's a prologue to this novel, which has the Thorn Ogres trap an animal, and I was just like, what's happening here? They're bushes, but the bushes are alive, but they're not bushes. They're ogres that look like bushes, and they've got all like thorns and branches and like that. I love that idea. Amazing. And you follow Gamaliel. That's Gamaliel, and he is just reached the age that they start to learn how to wurgle. So he goes to this classroom with his other students, and they meet the wurgle master, and he is going to teach them how to change their appearance. And the first 50 pages is really kind of setting the scene with him going, and he's a bit of a klutz. He kind of falls over, and he thinks he's a bit useless, and that's kind of who he is so far. He's got a sister who is a little bit older than him and is embarrassed by him, and he just sort of he leaves the tree and he goes to his lesson with the great grand Wurgle master. Look at that, that's what he looks like. That's phenomenal. And it's actually just a cute little book. It's quite young, you know, it's a bit younger than I've read recently. But in the first 50 pages, he sort of he meets some new friends, and he has to go and go and find a mouse, and he has to get some fur from a mouse, because then when he gets that fur, whenever he wants to change into a mouse, he has to use the fur. So he doesn't do very well, and his like tutor has to help him, and then it's moved on now from that, but I don't know whether that's past 50 pages. I've read slightly past 50 pages. You know what I'm like, I just start reading and I can't stop, because I was aiming to do 100, but then 100 I thought that's not very fair, that's half the book, because I want to give it all away. And yeah, so in the first 50 pages you really get to know him, and all the names are cute. They're really like different. There's like Gamaliel, and there's Cunella, there's Mufus and Bufus. I like them. They're kind of naughty, and I just really like this idea of a little hidden world in the woods that no one knows about. And yeah, it's just really, so far it's just kind of fun. I'm actually really enjoying it. And a weird story with this. This was released back in the 90s. I think it was 1999, but I'm going to check for you. This was first published in 1999 in this version. And I was looking online because somebody on YouTube recommended that I read these, because they are reading them now, the last books. And there was a really long wait for books 2 and 3, which have since been released now, and they are available now. But I think it's about 14 or 15 years between the publication of this and the second and third. So I'm looking forward to, I don't know the story behind that. I don't know why this came out and then the others didn't, because everybody who's talked about this, I like to Google these things, and everyone who speaks about this online speaks quite highly of it. So I wonder why it took so long for books 2 and 3 to come out, but I am quite intrigued. And I do love a story, a little magical story about a secret world that it looks like a tree to us, but inside the tree the whirlings live. I think that's quite cute. So I think for kids this is actually quite nice. And you've got these Thorn Ogres then, these evil, vicious, naughty, nasty ogres who are made from wood, who are out to get people. But so far those stories haven't collided, so I don't really know where it's going. I don't know where it's going at all. But I like the main character. I like he's a bit bumbling, you know, and hopefully he's going to be able to learn and find himself and overcome what he needs to overcome. So yeah, it's just a cute little book. I love the drawings in it. There's always drawings in Robin Jarvis books, as there should be. And what I've learned reading this book, which is really interesting to me as a writer, is that Robin Jarvis, I think when you read about perspectives in writing, if you like reading tips about writing, if you're kind of trying to figure out how to write your book, and it says about perspectives, and you should, all the advice is to keep to one perspective per chapter, or if you're in one scene, stick to one perspective and stay there, because it's simpler and that's the way that it should be. But Robin Jarvis does not do that at all. He is in his main character's head, and then he has a paragraph which is about the thoughts and feelings of a character in the scene, somebody else, and then you get something else from somewhere else, and he jumps around and you get a whole picture for the scene. So I'm starting to think that maybe the idea of having something from just one perspective is just a bit of crap, really. Maybe it doesn't matter, you know, and I'm writing at the moment, or at least I'm plotting and thinking about writing again at the moment, and I'm just wondering whether that having one perspective is really all that. I don't know, but it's making me think like that. That's what I like about reading so much recently. I'm learning stuff. But yeah, Thorn Ogres of Hagwood. I'm going to fly through it, and I will let you know how it ends in my August wrap-up, because we are now on August the 1st. But the first 50 pages have just been really cute. I don't know how else to describe it. It's cute. It's cute, but there's an edge, because you've got these ogres and they've trapped and killed this animal in the prologue. So they're not nice, and it's very fantastical. But that's okay. It's cute. It's very British, you know? It's very kind of in a British wood. There are some ogres living with these little creatures, and these worlds are going to collide. I like that. So yeah, enjoying it. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching, people. I'm in the middle of my Robin Jarvis binge, but I feel like after this book I may need a Robin Jarvis break. And I may have to read something else, and it might not even be YA. I may jump into something a bit more adult, maybe a thriller or something, or some crime. We'll see. But I will check in with you guys very soon. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're all okay. Bye!